Welcome to the True Blue RiffTrax. I am Jeremy. I'm psyched to be here this week, even though we're recording a day later than usual. But that's not my fault.
Are you trying to say that it's mine?
It is 100% Dave.
Okay, you're right. It is absolutely my fault. Hi, I'm Dave. And here's what happened. Okay. Jeremy he and I started talking. We're talking about making preparations to do our weekly RiffTrax podcast, right? And I completely forget that because we usually do it Sunday evening, and then I completely forget that I have a wrestling show that's going to take all night, and I didn't realize this till the day before.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was Saturday. Yeah, so the day.
Yeah, and I was like, oh crap, Jeremy. I have a show. I have to go put on a bee mask and wrestle as a bee man. I can't make our RiffTrax podcast recording. And then I realized my life is strange. So okay, let's just do a Monday night. So here we are. And hey, we survived our half-year review. And we don't have 10 million movies to talk about.
No, we only have 2 movies to talk about. But first and foremost, we need to wish the entire gang at RiffTrax a happy 13th anniversary / birthday / whatever you want to call it.
Woo! Lucky 13!
13 years. It's amazing. I've only been a part of it for 8 years.
I have been a part of it since 2000. So it's it's coming up on 10. I've been a part of it for 10 and a half.
Nice.
So yeah.
And my first experience with RiffTrax, I figure this is as good a time as any to talk about it.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers at my then new job, we were talking about stuff that we were into, and MST3K came up, and he said, "Hey, there's this thing called RiffTrax, and it's Mike, Kevin, and Bill from MST3K, and they riff movies," and got me really interested. And there just happened to be a live show coming up 2 weeks from then, and it was Jack the Giant Killer.
No, that's such a great forgotten classic, Jack the Giant Killer. I don't think it gets enough play in the annals, in the halls of RiffTrax.
Yeah, it was an excellent first exposure to RiffTrax. There's also the short "What Is Nothing" before that one, which.
So "What Is Nothing" was your first RiffTrax riff?
Yeah, that was. I mean, since it came before Jack the Giant Killer, and technically that live show, But yeah, it was, and I was hooked instantly.
So what was your what did you go and pick up after that? Do you remember?
I went.
Because that was 2011. There's a whole bunch of stuff by then.
Yeah. I can actually.
Are we gonna do that thing where we look up what our very first? I know what my very first purchase was, but
yeah, I'm gonna look mine up real quick.
Okay. Let's totally leave all this in. Yeah, because I'm gonna be on my my phone right now. I'm gonna log into RiffTrax.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, we should leave this in with all of our dumb little singing and
I can't believe I'm not logged into RiffTrax on my phone. What is wrong with I am a terrible, terrible fan.
Let's see, how many pages back do I have to go?
I'd have to go back quite a bit. I calculated once how much I had spent over 10 years on RiffTrax, or however many years it was when I had added it up, and it was close to $2,000.
Yeah, I don't like looking at the amount of money that I spent on RiffTrax. My first purchase, I bought 4 shorts. At Your Fingertips boxes, At Your Fingertips grasses, Paper and I, and County Fair.
Man, you're a short slut, aren't you?
I sure am. An unapologetic one at that.
I'm having problems logging in because I'm an idiot. But in the interest of time, I think I could probably tell you what my first purchases were. Anybody at RiffTrax listening, go see how great I am and go back and look. If you care enough, I don't think you do.
Well, probably not.
Yeah. Go back and look at my history and see if I'm right. Definitely, the first purchase was The Dark Knight. Because in fact, I'll tell the story now. It was my second to last Christmas in the Army. It was December 2008. I had traveled all year 2008. I had been to Salt Lake. I had been to I just spent the freaking year on airplanes just going all over the freaking place. And I just kind of wanted to stay on base where I was. I actually had an apartment off base, but whatever. I just wanted to stay in my apartment and do nothing because I just spent all year. It was crazy traveling, and I found myself like, I'm all by myself. What's going on? And it was the year The Dark Knight was the big. You remember how The Dark Knight just took over everything that year?
Oh yeah.
So The Dark Knight, it just come out, and it was like the first thing up because like I had heard of RiffTrax. But I hadn't really, because it started when I was in Iraq, and I didn't really have the time or the resources to really check it out. But I had been meaning to check it out. Yeah,
you were probably pretty busy at that point.
I was a little busy. I couldn't go get Roadhouse the weekend that it came out. In fact, that was probably on Tower Guard in July of 2006. Anyway, so if I like, okay, I'm gonna check out RiffTrax, right? And it was really that first time. I remember it's the only time I've really ever had any trouble. Like it was like the first time. Like I think I messed up the sync. Like the first time I had to try it again, but then I got it, and it was never ever a problem again. Like 1, 2, 3, pause, then unpause. Okay, cool. I got it. I mean, I know a lot of people have problems syncing. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm not here to judge people. I got it, and it was just like the funniest thing, and like I was not expecting my life to change that Christmas Eve, watching the RiffTrax of The Dark Knight, and so I think I went and after that I got The Phantom Menace and Star Trek V, some of the really early ones. And then I bought a few over the Christmas weekend, and that's what I did for the holidays. I just sat in my apartment and just watched RiffTrax after RiffTrax after RiffTrax. I've just been a super fan since. So Jeremy, what's your because I did this thing on Twitter, what's your favorite RiffTrax memory? Do you have a favorite RiffTrax memory?
Probably showing my nephews. They heard me talking to my son about RiffTrax, and they wanted to see what all the fuss was about. So I decided I would show them a short because we didn't have a lot of time. So I figured I'd start out strong, and I turned on This Is Hormel.
Oh God! You didn't have a lot of time. That's like half an hour long.
I just mean we couldn't watch a whole movie, you know.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't throw on Ghost House or something.
Oh, okay. So instead you decided to show them show them getting a pigskin.
Yes.
Yeah. Did they freak out at that? That's like the one thing I remember. Like if I forget everything about This Is Hormel, I'll always remember that pig getting a skin.
No, they freaked out, but it was an enjoyable freak out. They were laughing and screaming, and yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome.
That's probably one of my favorite RiffTrax memories. Aside from the first, going to see Jack the Giant Killer.
Right. You're a shorts guy. You're a big shorts guy. There's a short out there, and it just reminded me of the pigskin. It was there's a short where a wild pig gives birth.
That is the behavior of semi-domesticated pigs in a pig park.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. Because I'm trying to remember, so I didn't imagine it.
Oh no, that happens, and it is an extremely surprisingly disgusting moment, and the reactions are amazing.
But what's my favorite RiffTrax memory, Jeremy? Well, I'm glad you asked. Obviously, I think it's me going to the Belcourt in 2016 for Mothra, being something of a special guest VIP, sort of, in a way. They had a seat reserved for me because I had, at that point, I had just finished Storybook, and my comics were getting featured in the digital goodies in the live shows at that point. And I, of course, had been running the Riff Wiki for a while at that point as well. I don't want to talk about what else was going on about that day too much, but I was having a big problem that day with we'll just get this out of the way. I was having the infamous problem. My infamous run-in with James Wen was happening that night.
You can go to pvnawesome.com and do a search for it, and I wrote an article about it.
Okay, yeah, do that. Basically, what had happened was James Wen had found out about a parody I had done about Birdemic for Mystery Science Storybook. He didn't approve of it, and he threatened to sue me for $10 million. It was insane. All this was going on as I was getting ready to go to RiffTrax Live Mothra. Like, I was dealing with this garbage. It was crazy. My brain was divided, and I was so afraid that this whole experience was going to be ruined for me because I was dealing with James freaking Nguyen. As I was flying to Nashville to go to RiffTrax Live, I thought that the only thing I'm going to be able to think about is James Nguyen ruining this thing I've worked so hard on. But when I got in there, I was just like, oh, right? It was just like I didn't think about it the entire time. It was just like, it was such a, I got to meet Connor and Sean, our writer friends. There were a few people there who recognized me, which I was stunned by. Everybody who came up to me and introduced themselves and all that stuff, that was so nice. I fear I was not as nice as everybody was being to me, even though I was trying to be.
That's a given.
Yeah. But it was just such an amazing experience for me to be able to see this thing live in the Belcourt. And every time I go to a RiffTrax Live event now, that's not at the Belcourt. I mean, this was 3 years ago, and it's still just like, it's still so fresh in my brain being there at the Belcourt. And every time I sit down in a theater chair and I see the Belcourt come up, I see RiffTrax Live happening and I'm not there, I get mad. This is bullshit. Why am I not there? What am I doing here? This is stupid. I should be there. Right? So I'm going to get back there eventually. Every year I've said I'm going to go. This is the year I go back, and it hasn't happened yet. And I really, really want to go back. So, guys, if you get a chance to go to RiffTrax Live at the Belcourt in Nashville, go. It might ruin everything else for you, but that experience is going to be something you're going to remember forever, because it's still one of the best nights of my life, I think.
Yeah, one of these years, I'll get down there for one of the live shows. You know who's going to be there at the next live show and who was there for the first two live shows of this year? Our good friend Margot.
Oh, yes. Hi, Margot. Are you going to yell at us some more? I'm just kidding.
Happy birthday. Happy anniversary, RiffTrax. Can't wait to see what you guys have for us in the future. But let's move on now to headlines.
Headlines.
So San Diego Comic-Con just ended.
Boo.
And not really a whole lot to talk about, other than the butt ton of things that Marvel Studios announced. Like, they seriously dropped a ton of news on us on Saturday. They basically gave us all of their movies for the next 2 years, starting with Black Widow, which...
How is that going to work?
I'm not sure. It's going to take place in the past.
Oh, boo.
This is going to be the first movie of Phase 4, May 1st, 2020. And then that will be followed up by The Eternals in November of 2020, November 6th. We've got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series starting up with Baron Zemo making a return, played by Daniel Bruhl from Civil War. We've got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming out.
I have a question about that.
February 12th, 2021. Yes, Dave.
So with that, is that going to have like the real Mandarin in it, or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to have the real Mandarin being played by Tony Leung. He's going to be the real Mandarin. There was a one shot that they did, and I really hope that Trevor makes at least an appearance in this movie. Ben Kingsley, because he was my favorite part of Iron Man 3.
He was everybody's favorite part of Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 gets a bad rap, I gotta say. It's a freaking fantastic movie that I think got, just like people got their panties in a wad for no reason about that. Incidentally, our good friend Matthew J. Elliott shares the exact same opinion with you about that, about as long as Ben Kingsley's in it, he's all for it.
Yeah, I think that would be good. They also announced the Wanda and Vision series. It's going to be called WandaVision. It's Scarlet Witch and the Vision. Takes place after Endgame.
What?
Paul Bettany will be reprising the role of Vision. And WandaVision is actually going to lead into the next Doctor Strange movie, of which Scarlet Witch will play a role. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And they've said this is the first MCU horror movie.
What?
Yeah,
okay.
they're going horror with it. They talked about the Loki show, which is the Loki from Endgame that we saw. They're doing a What If animated series, which is all the, what if this had happened instead of this? That's a long running comic series that they've done, and I'm really excited about this. Oh, they're doing a Hawkeye series. So Hawkeye getting his own show. Jeremy Renner reprising his role. He's going to be apparently bringing in Kate Bishop, who kind of was the new Avengers Hawkeye. So he's going to be training her. Hopefully we get Pizza Dog.
And in every episode he has a new really stupid haircut.
Because, it's Hawkeye. Why not? Yeah. Then the two, my personal favorite announcements from the show.
Oh, I think it's going to be mine too.
Yes. Thor, Love and Thunder.
Woo!
Directed by Taika Waititi. Once
Who
again.
Is one of my heroes. I don't know if you guys know about this at all. In fact, Jeremy, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm kind of obsessed with Thor Ragnarok. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook or anything like that, but Thor Ragnarok is kind of a big deal for me. I mean, have you ever picked up on that?
Really? That is a surprise, Dave.
Okay.
I'm shocked.
The joke here, guys, is that even almost 2 years after it first came out, I cannot stop talking about Thor Ragnarok and posting pictures and stuff and quotes about Thor Ragnarok. I just think it's like, not only is it's definitely the best Marvel movie out there. Like, it is one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion. I mean, the story is perfect. It uses color perfectly. The plot is just like so awesome. Oh, also it's hilarious. So for me to hear that Taika Waititi had returned, which is essentially going to be like maybe not a direct sequel to Thor Ragnarok, but definitely a successor to it in style, most likely, because Taika Waititi can't help himself but be hilarious.
Right.
I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. In case you haven't heard, I don't know if you heard about the actual plot points that they announced for it. But it's going to Chris Hemsworth, of course, is going to be in it. Tessa Thompson back as Valkyrie, as she said, as a king searching for her queen, which I thought was hilarious.
Jeez.
And Jane Foster is returning.
Yeah, she's gonna wield like Mjolnir in the comics.
Yes, she is going to be the mighty Thor, which, in all honesty, that series that they did was probably the best Thor story that they've ever done in comics. And
I would say one of, but you're
it's-
definitely right. Yeah.
it's got a very bittersweet ending to it, and I doubt that they're going to go that route with this movie, knowing Taika and just, his track record for stuff. Although they might.
I hope not.
But yeah, it'll be real interesting, and of course, all of the fragile white boys on Twitter are losing their minds over it. And I love every second of it. Feed me more. Put it directly into my veins. I love it. I love seeing those people have problems with this stuff. And then, of course, the big surprise announcement, which was another one that shocked me and I'm super excited for. Marvel is making a new Blade movie. Of course, Mahershala Ali is going to be playing Blade. I think he's a great fit for the character. He did play Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage Netflix series, but those don't count anymore. So he's free to play another character. One other announcement. I am a big fan of the Marvel Legends action figures, and they do. If you're not familiar, they have a wave at a time. It's like a grouping of 6 or 7 characters, and usually they each come with pieces of a Build-A-Figure. Like the Spider-Man Far From Home figures come with pieces to build the big Molten Man. The last Avengers wave came with the pieces to build Thanos. So you basically, if you want this other character, you have to buy all the rest of them. And I never really personally cared enough to want all of them until this new one that they announced at Comic-Con. It's their 3rd wave of Avengers figures, and the Build-A-Figure is Fat Thor.
Oh, jeez.
And I really just want the Fat Thor, like who they have officially dubbed as Bro Thor, by the way. But I really want that. Also, speaking of Avengers Endgame, it is officially the highest grossing movie of all time. It has made worldwide $2.79 billion. That's with a B, billion. It is a disgusting amount of money.
That is obscene. Now, I'm all for making money. Don't get me wrong. And I guess I'm not really mad at these guys for making that much money. But hot damn, you could that's enough money to go to war for 3 days. It's that. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It surpassed Avatar to become officially the highest grossing movie of all time. Speaking of box office, wow, The Lion King brought in over its first weekend $191 million.
Wow.
For the CG remake that is, from all that I've heard, literally the exact same movie, just CG in different voices.
Isn't that par for the course for all these crazy ass Disney live action remakes or CGI remakes?
It doesn't matter what Disney does, if it's a Marvel movie or a remake of something, or the 8th Toy Story movie in the series, it's gonna make a crazy amount of money. And those are the only movies that people go see anymore.
Well, unless it has a cameo by J. Jonah Jameson at the end, count me out.
Spoiler alert! Yes, Spider-Man Far From Home is closing in on the $1 billion mark.
What?
Yeah.
That movie is making $1 billion?
It is a great Spider-Man movie.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it isn't. That I just said that all wrong. But I'm not saying it's not a great movie. I'm saying that it didn't strike me as a $1 billion movie. I mean, my God.
And it's a good thing too, because it's in the contract. I'm not
criticizing it. Yeah.
Well, it's in the contract between Marvel and Sony that if the movie did not make or does not make $1 billion, Sony gets full creative control back.
Oh, wow. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah. So it's a good thing, because Spider-Man in the MCU has been outstanding. And if they lost that now, just out of the blue, that would suck.
Now we're going to go back to the Amazing Spider-Man that I liked, but nobody gives a crap about anymore.
I liked the first one.
I liked the first one as well.
The second one was a hot a hot mess. It was, as the kids like to say for 2019, a dumpster fire.
A dumpster fire, yes.
Yes, but yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home is number 2. Toy Story is number 3.
I actually saw that the other day.
Spider-Man or Toy Story?
Toy Story 4.
And what'd you think?
I didn't like it, but it's like it just didn't feel. It just felt like another one.
Yeah.
And I see everybody praising it like it's better than Toy Story 3. Did you see Toy Story 3?
Toy Story 3 is an amazingly emotional movie. And Toy Story 4, while it does have some decent moments, it's not on the level of Toy Story 3.
Definitely is not, no. But other people seem to like it, so it must be doing something good. So I can't really... Yeah.
I didn't dislike it. It's not like it was Shrek 3 or anything. But so, what else? Crawl, the movie Crawl, not Crawl with the glade, but Crawl.
Beat me to it.
The flooding and the alligators or whatever is currently in 4th place, and that movie Yesterday that I had never heard of before a couple weeks ago is in 5th place.
Which movie was that?
Yesterday.
Oh, Yesterday. Oh, I thought you meant something different. I've never heard of it either. So
I don't know what happens, but like nobody has any memory of the Beatles except for one guy. So he starts like performing their music and like he becomes like this sensation.
That's brilliant. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
So Dave, now that we're done with the box office draw, how about we talk about some shorts?
How about we do that?
Yes!
For today's short review of RiffTrax shorts, we're going to be taking a look at Down and Out, released July. God.
This is July.
Released June 30th of 2008.
Oh, wow.
Safety shorts are my favorite genre of all of the RiffTrax shorts. The over-exaggerating, it's like watching the precursor to infomercials. Is it hard for you to crack an egg? Those dumb things. Down and Out has over-exaggerating in spades. And that's why I love this one so much. Right off the bat, we learn how falls are the second leading cause of death.
What?
And how falling can also lead to trick knees, which is not a thing you ever hear about anymore. This short is all about falling. It's the Dick Van Dyke of shorts. I've honestly never seen so many pratfalls in one thing before. This one is at its best when the guys are talking about how nothing is safe and you just shouldn't do anything at all, ever. Nothing. It's a great short. Down and Out gets 4 clumsy falls out of 5.
Woo! I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, it's really good. They're all terrible falls too. Like nobody would ever fall in half of the situations that they show.
Anytime we talk about safety shorts now, for some reason, I just think of 6 Murderous Beliefs. And just how everyone in that is just a total stupid idiot.
It's such a great short.
Yeah. And, of course, Guardiana.
Yes. Safety hides at home or whatever. I know what the actual title is, folks. Please don't at me. But let's go from the shorts to the not shorts and look at our first VOD for today.
It would be, we're going to talk about something I've actually watched quite a bit of recently. The 2013 release of the, I believe, 1989 movie, McBain, starring Christopher Walken, Michael Ironside, and a bunch of other weirdos you've never heard of. And the guy who played Danny's father in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
The big draw here, obviously, is Christopher Walken.
Yeah, obviously. So how long has it been since you've seen this one, Jeremy?
I watched it when it was first released.
In 2013? So it's been 6 years?
It's been a while. I have actually written about it on the site more recently than that, but that was just more of a movies to watch instead of the Oscars. It was It was all RiffTrax movies who had people who had either won Oscars or were nominated for Oscars. So, of course, I had to include McBain because Christopher Walken and his turn in The Deer Hunter.
Right. I was about to say, so he won for The Deer Hunter, right? Is that what his big thing is?
I do believe so.
Is that he actually won for The Deer Hunter, or was it something else?
Let's see, because I have it right here at my fingertips. Let's see. Christopher Walken won for The Deer Hunter and Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Catch Me If You Can, 2002.
So, what do you remember about the movie itself?
That Christopher Walken is fighting drug dealers and the mafia and a Colombian dictator. But that's really it. And then Michael Ironside's in it. That was the other thing I remember.
Yeah. Michael Ironside is in it, and he has a greasy ponytail.
Yes. Is there any other kind, Dave? Really?
Mine's not greasy. I'm almost 40, and I still have a ponytail. I'm not ashamed.
Hey, as long as it's not a man bun, we're good.
It is not a man bun. Do I look like the creator and director of Thundercats Roar? Do I have a man bun? No, I think not.
And I'm very grateful for that, Dave.
So the movie starts out, these guys are in Vietnam. We get to look up a cow's butt. And then they go and they rescue McBain from this guy with a necklace of human ears. There's one guy who was in Vietnam. Why he's in Vietnam with these guys, we don't know. Santos. So yeah. Santos is fighting a revolution in Colombia. That never happens there, right?
No.
He's a contranista or whatever the hell they're called. So you could definitely so it's very, very late 80s, that kind of mindset where everybody is and everything's hyper violent. We actually see him, and they have a president in this who has like the worst cabinet ever. And they have this general that just like looks like he's never seen a man die before. And you would think that a general, you would have to be like, okay, well, we can't be a general unless you've been in combat and seen people get killed, right?
I mean, generally.
Yeah. But the guy looked like he had never been to war before in his life. It looks like he just like crawled out of a freaking sarcophagus and to be like, oh, well, I'm going to go be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs now. The sister of the guy who was murdered by by El Presidente goes to ride the donkey to New York to find Bobby McBain, and he goes and he rounds up all his friends, one of who wears a WrestleMania hat, one's a surgeon, another one is some kind of cop or something. And they're like, okay, well, since nobody is going to help us overthrow the dictatorship in Colombia, I'm going to go get these four guys. I'm going to go get McBain. I'm going to go get his three doofy friends. And together with these four guys, we're going to go overthrow the Colombian government. Yeah. And to do so, to get funding, they decided to go on a murder spree because that's the best way to go to get funding for your revolution, is to go murder a bunch of drug dealers, right? And then when that doesn't work, when the guy is revealed to have actually been in Vietnam with them, after they just totally kill all his other accomplices, right? They let him live. Like, oh, you're in Vietnam? Oh, cool. So are we. Are you insane like we are? You are? Cool. Okay, we got no problems with you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go kidnap a corporate executive by driving a gigantic Mack truck big rig right into his limousine, and then punch out all the witnesses, take him, hang him up with a construction crane over a New York City building, and after we do that, he's going to transfer a bunch of money into our Swiss bank accounts, and boom, our revolution is funded. Okay, now we're going to go to an airport, and we're going to fire a rocket, like a bunch of terrorists, into the control tower, kill everybody in the control tower, instead of just flying there, we have to kill everybody in the control tower first. Okay, so it's like, so they go on this murder spree before they even get to Columbia, right? And so, and then of course they go and murder, and Columbia's overthrown. Christopher Walken succeeds, and that's it. That's McBain.
That's McBain. Did you know? Fun little tidbit for you. This film was not very successful.
No,
it made less than $500,000 at the box office.
What? You're kidding?
Nope. Less than $500,000. It made $456,127. McBain.
Wow. No wonder it's overshadowed by a Simpsons character.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the real elephant in the room.
They actually, for a while, the producers of McBain would not let 20th Century Fox and Matt Groening use McBain.
Yeah. So, and that's why that character is called Rainier Wolfcastle.
Yep.
But if we're going to talk about the riff for, of the Mike, Kevin, and Bill side of things,
yes,
this riff is significant for a couple of reasons. One is that it was the first VOD to prominently feature an actual movie star. And it was the first VOD. It was like part of the what I call the 2013 VOD revolution. It was I believe it was the first VOD released in 2013. Then, I think a week later, I think it was When a Stranger Calls Back. Then a week after that was Cool as Ice. Then a week after that, I believe it was Viva Knievel.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff, one after the other.
And then a while after that, it was The Apple. Then after that, it was Kingdom of Spiders. And then Psycho 2. They had a bunch of really, really kind of for RiffTrax anyway. At that point, some very high-profile movies that for VODs, and before they were just doing whatever they could get their hands on, public domain stuff like The Guy from Harlem or Ghost House, which they could get on the cheap. Planet of Dinosaurs, which is also public domain. Crater Lake Monster, which they could get on the cheap. Buffalo Rider, which is public domain. Things like that. They started making a little bit more. I'm guessing they started making a little bit more money and were able to invest in these kinds of very kind of high-profile cult movies. And McBain was the first. I think it's an essential riff, and I think it's a very important riff within the history of the company. And the other significant, I think, if people are going to remember anything from the RiffTrax side of this movie, is that there are 2 F-bombs dropped in this movie. Not in the movie itself, because, of course, they don't bleep out any of the F-bombs in the actual movie part of it. No.
Right.
Both Mike and Kevin each get to drop one uncensored F-bomb in this riff.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike. Mike later on. I didn't remember that until I can't remember what the line was, but I actually watched it. I've watched it 3 or 4 times recently, and every time I hear Mike say effing, I'm like, oh wow, Mike has an F-bomb in this one too. It's like I did not remember that, but the one that everybody remembers is infamously the president in the movie tells one of his staff members, "You're effing with the wrong president." Okay. And then Kevin Murphy very famously says, "Try f***ing with Martin Van Buren." That is the line, I think, one of the most iconic lines in all of RiffTrax history. Try f***ing with Martin Van Buren. I think that is probably the line from this riff that everybody is going to be remembered, that everyone remembers it for, and one of the lines that no one can really forget in all of RiffTrax history, which is awesome. Yeah. I mean, they chose it well to use that one. Completely uncensored. It's pretty great. And I'm glad, and I'm glad they reserved it just for that one, or actually twice. They don't do it ever again, but it's just I wouldn't have it any other way. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch this one. It's been obviously far too long. But yeah, McBain.
Yeah, McBain. I mean, what else can you say about it?
Nice.
Anyway, but there's another one we got to talk about. I'm right now, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the lead on it because there's actually kind of a little bit of a thing here that you want to start doing. So
our next VOD that we're going to be taking a look at today is actually the result of our first listener poll, which is something I threw together after Dave stood me up. After Dave told me that we weren't going to be able to record on Sunday evening, I decided that I would throw up a poll and let you guys, the listeners, decide one of the VODs that we talked about. And that poll was between Ghost House and The Guy from Harlem. And the clear winner by a very, very large margin was The Guy from Harlem. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. One of the most well-known and considered one of the best riffs from RiffTrax. This one was, as Dave said, it was released in 2012.
Yep,
was actually released October 4th of 2012. And if you haven't seen it, oh man,
what's wrong with you?
I hope you're ready for some burnt meat and crappy scotch because we're diving right into this. The Guy from Harlem is about one Al Connors, played by...
Oh, Loy Hawkins, my friend Loy Hawkins, my Facebook friend's Loy Hawkins. He never interacts with me. Like, I lurk his profile to see, because he posts some awesome stuff. Sometimes of him doing karaoke and whatever, and it's just like he's just like it's like the greatest thing to have this perfectly nice guy that I could just stalk and just kind of like giggle at. But Loy Hawkins, man, he's a great guy. I love him to death. Even though I wish that he would return my many emails. Senpai, notice me.
Oh, jeez. Al Connors is a private detective operating in... No, not Harlem. Miami, Florida, you goofs.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
He is contacted by a CIA officer. They want to hire him to protect the wife of an African head of state in town for diplomatic business. They think there's a security leak and that she'll be under better protection out of the CIA hands, which, Al Connors accepts the job, suggests posing as a newlywed couple at a local hotel. And, at the hotel, that's when he orders his famous dinner of some well-done New York strip and J&B scotch.
Yeah.
Good stuff. He probably had a bunch of ketchup for it, too.
They don't eat it, though, by the way.
No, they don't eat it. They order a massage, and the lady comes up, and she tries to kill her. And there's like a great fight in the hotel room where Al Connors and the assailants, I don't know, they roll around in the living room a few times.
It's like Batman taking out the Ninja Turtles and Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, only way stupider.
Yeah, he just clowns all of them, and it's hilariously terrible. In fact, most of the fighting in this movie is really bad. Like, he's storming a compound to rescue the kidnapped lady, and he gently massages a guy's neck until he passes out. Like, it's so good. Like, this is one of those movies.
He punches a guy in drag in the face, and this guy's obviously like not like what he's pretending to be, and the woman that he's with is surprised, like, that's a woman. Like, how could you think that was a woman? Look at his sideburns. Like,
well, that's actually in the hotel room when room service brings up the room service person comes and he punches him, and it's a man dressed as a woman claiming that. I forgot about this line. He can smell a New York strip steak a block away.
A mile away, right.
Oh, man. But Big Daddy is the crime kingpin. And
Oh, but before we talk about before we talk about Big Daddy, I have 2 questions for you. 2 questions. One, what was I talking about?
I don't know.
Anyway, well, while I remember what the first question was, let's talk about the gangster in this movie for a minute. They call me, you might have heard of me. My name is Harry DeBaud, right? That's the as Kevin calls him, the loudest gangster in the world. No, but he's this very loud gangster. He's the father of the African princess that has. Oh no, it's not the African princess. My bad. Yeah, his daughter was kidnapped by Big Daddy's organization, and Big Daddy's not Big Daddy's organization, Harry DeBaud's criminal organization. They were all so upset that Harry's daughter had been kidnapped that they're just be like, we can't handle it. We got to go get the guy from Harlem.
Yeah.
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 And,
Harry DeBaud, yes.
But let's talk about. I so very politely interrupted you. So now you may talk about Big Daddy.
Well, Big Daddy.
It's hard.
I can't tell you that few people ever see Big Daddy.
Yeah, I know. Be like, I've never seen him. I mean, like it's like we can't really talk about it because nobody has ever seen him.
The only thing I can tell you is he's about 6 feet 2 inches tall, has blonde curly hair, and man, you talk about some muscles. He's got some muscles on him, and he always wears bands around his muscles.
Wait a minute. Okay, so but
nobody ever sees him.
Is that all you can tell me? I mean, it's so vague.
Yes.
But I guess that's all you can tell me because nobody has ever seen him.
That's all we can tell you about Big Daddy. Nobody's ever seen him.
That perfect description. Like if I saw him on the street, and like I wouldn't be able to miss him for the life of me. It'd be blonde curly hair, about how tall is he?
6 foot 2 inches tall.
Yeah, he's got some muscles on him. I wish I knew what this guy looked like.
Yeah, it's a
cornucopia, everybody.
Yeah.
Go to RiffTrax.com, get the guy from Harlem. RiffTrax, if you're listening, Guy from Harlem live show.
I would highly suggest watching the riffed version of the Guy from Harlem and not the unriffed version of the Guy from Harlem. There is such a thing? Yeah, and it's on Amazon Prime. It's actually under the title The Good Guy from Harlem, but it is uncut. There is
Wait, there's more to that movie?
Well, you know how the movie always felt like it was going to be a softcore porn, like
No, shut your mouth.
It kind of actually starts going in that direction for a little bit. That was the point where I turned off the movie because
you say there's no nipples in this movie.
I cannot.
No!
I can neither confirm nor deny that we don't see more than Big Daddy's nipples.
That means yes. Oh no.
So watch the riffed version if you want to save your eyeballs.
I want to know how they found that movie.
I have no idea.
If we if we ever get any of those guys on the show, we have to like I know there's a list of questions we want to ask people from RiffTrax when they get on the podcast. One of those things is I want to know how and where, under what circumstances they found the Guy from Harlem, because it just seems like it's such a room cult style movie, but no one's ever heard of it.
Yeah,
it's like it just seems like they just stumbled on it somehow, and it just I want to know how something like that happens. I mean, I know how a movie like that happens, idiots, but I want to know how you find something like that. Like,
there's a connection with another movie And
yeah, I know what movie you're talking about.
I'm gonna use the title
you cannot say.
Yeah, I'll say the alternate title, Super Soul Brother. A clip from this movie gets shared from time to time. It recycles into the internet, and people share it around and have a good laugh with it because of how bad it looks and how dumb it is. But it shares a set with the guy from Harlem. Yeah, like one of the rooms. I think one of the hotel rooms or something. Or no, when they go to the second place that they're hiding out. Al and the wife of the head of state.
Small Boob Jessica Simpson's apartment.
Yes, it shares that room with this other movie.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that
sex stuff happens.
Yeah, yes, that is where all the gross sex stuff happens. That's where the edited out gross sex stuff happens.
Oh, sorry, I just had a Gamer Girl bathwater gag moment. Anyway.
So yeah, Guy from Harlem, it's a classic. The theme song,
that's how it starts.
The theme song about him being a guy from Harlem, and it's like an 8-minute song or something. It feels like it's an 8-minute song at least, and the guy really is the hell from Harlem.
The guy from Harlem. That cat's a bad dude. Ooh, yeah, check it out. Ugh.
But yeah, if you've never seen this one, do yourself a favor right now. Well, maybe wait a couple minutes till you're done listening to us, and then go watch it. Either buy it or go watch it on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime. It's currently available for you to watch on there. Look out for our next listener poll. We're going to be doing this every week now. Every Friday, we're going to put up our poll. We're going to give you 3 choices to choose from. This poll will be put up on the True Blue Riffcast Twitter account at TB Riffcast. It will be put up on the RiffTrax Facebook group, and it will also be in the True Blue RiffTrax True Blue
Riffcast fans. Yes.
It will be up on there. So you'll have 3 different places you can go and vote for this. And we will take whatever has the most votes, and that's the VOD we will talk about aside from the other one that we decide on ourselves. So yeah, that's going to be a new feature, something we're gonna do on a weekly basis, a couple days before we record. So we have, a little bit of time to rewatch that VOD and get reacquainted with it if it's not one that both of us have watched, 80 times.
Over and over, yeah. There are quite a few of those.
Yes. And actually, I will give you a sneak peek of this week's poll.
Yes. Shall we drop the choices on them?
Yes. You will be able to choose between Twilight,
Woo!
Ghost House,
yes,
and Roller Gator.
Roller Gator, yeah! I'm such a Roller Gator troll.
3
because I love Roller Gator.
Honestly, 3 of my favorite RiffTrax.
Yeah, I mean, like, with those 3, you can go get any one of those 3 right now and not be let down.
Yeah. Unless you're one of those types who can't barely make it through Roller Gator.
I don't, you know what? To this day, I don't. It's kind of like, well, I guess I kind of get it with the. I guess people's biggest problem with it is the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
But
which would drive any normal person insane, especially if you were trying to watch it without the riff.
Well, here's the thing, Jeremy. I'm not a normal person.
And neither am I.
And on that note,
that's going to do it for this week's episode. I'm Jeremy. You can find me at pbandawesome.com. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at pbandawesome. You can follow the True Blue Riffcast on Twitter at tbriffcast.
And hi, I'm Dave. You can check me out at sugarraydodge.com, at sugarraydodge on Twitter. You can find me at Sugar Ray Dodge or Charlie B on Facebook. Yep, buzz. And hey, and happy birthday, RiffTrax.
Happy birthday to you. We'll see you guys next time.